Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I want to talk about Filipina or Filipino overseas workers in this video. It's from a source called Pinoy-OFW.com, and it's called 5 Valid Reasons Why It's Wrong to Be an OFW. So please leave your comments on this. I married a woman from the Philippines back in 2015, and since then, I've been made aware of how common it is for a woman in the Philippines, or even the husband, the man, to go move to another country, send back remittances back home. Philippines gets a lot of remittances that way, and it's very important to their economy. So I want to know what you feel about this, good or bad. I can tell you that as of April, I think this is from philstar.com, it says that 7% of Filipino households are home to overseas Filipino workers, but they say this number may double as 7% of adult Filipinos says they are currently looking for work abroad, so it may get even higher. And last statistics from Philippine Statistics Authority, PSA, is 1.83 million overseas Filipino workers back in 2021. We know someone in our family that is doing this right now, another country, and probably there have been others. And I'll just briefly say here before I run out of time, I would prefer this not happen. I think there's some dangers that can happen when either the husband or the wife is away. Now, if they're married, I think that makes a big difference, because anytime you're away from your spouse, and I know they do it a lot, there's still something could go wrong. That somebody could get taken advantage of, have a weak moment. Without that responsibility of being home, who knows what kind of trouble they could get into. And it's just not good for husband and wife to be alone. We've been making videos on different types of variations of marriage. People come up, and this is not, I feel bad when they have to do that, and I'm sure they don't feel great, but let me know if you've been in that situation. What do you think? Filipino overseas workers. Now, what they're going to talk about briefly in this article I'll run through is that they leave their families behind and they spoil their children, and they talk about fueling brain drain, and their views change, living in another country. And they say, number 5, we contribute to the progress of our host country more than the Philippines. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find the name of this person, but it's in Pinoy-OFW.com. Perhaps you're familiar with that. As far as leaving our families behind, they say, as OFWs, the first most significant decision to make is to leave our family as we head somewhere far away in exchange for something better in the future. Although we call it sacrifice, others may call our exodus abandonment. It's because our decision to go abroad leads to the separation of members of the family, a basic unit of society, and puts it at risk of breaking up. Very short and succinct. The second point they mention there in this article is spoiling their children. Showing off with expensive shoes that sometimes can't even be found in stores in the Philippines puts gratitude on the faces of our children in school. But for others, such material blessings can become instruments for bragging rights, an attitude of materialism. Some people may suspect that showing our love and compromising for the extended period of our absence by their side is spoiling them. Worse, our children could find other sources of influence and guidance in our absence. Good point. Which may not align with our principles as parents. I really like that point. Please leave your comments on this one. I think this is a very important topic. And they mention brain drain. Our presence in the workplaces benefits the host country. As laborers, architects, or nurses, our services are geared towards the people and places where they are located. Many of us have availed of government scholarships and grants only to use them for our benefit instead of returning the favor by serving the country. Our well-documented life abroad could also inspire others to join us in forming the chronic problem of brain drain. It has left the Philippines bereft of qualified professionals supposed to build the nation from its present state. Also, a very good point. Now, we've got some relatives that could come here and be a success in America, but they've chosen to invest their skills where they are to help make the Philippines better. So this point here resonates with me. They talk about our views changing, having left the Philippines and been exposed to a new society, a new culture. We have suddenly changed our ways. Although this is mostly for the better, some of us could give up bad habits and old values taught as children as we embrace open-mindedness. Our views on contraception or same-sex marriage might clash with our long-standing views of the family. It becomes easy to judge those policies we see abroad that should work if applied in the Philippines. Views changing. Well, I hope that someone is, this is me talking, I hope that somebody is, grounded and stable enough in their perception of life and their views that they're not going to go to another country and be, corrupted. Yet again, this is a very salient point. Somebody could go, it's got a family in the Philippines, leave them behind, go to America, somewhere else, and kind of change slowly but surely, and it may not have a good impact on the family. The person that comes back or comes back on a vacation before going back to their other country may not be the person that left the Philippines. And another point here, I think this is their final one, we contribute to the progress of our host country more than the Philippines. In many states, OFWs are required to pay taxes. The more skilled you are, the higher your wage is, the higher the tax you pay. Since you do not work in the Philippines, you don't pay tax there anymore. They say we always take pride in our dollar remittances that sustain the economy of the Philippines, and that they should. However, they say the fact that we don't pay taxes deprives the country of funds used for social services and public infrastructure. The government's inability to effectively collect taxes and apparent misuse of government funds, they say, is another story. So let me know what you think about Filipino overseas workers. Like I said, we had that going on in our family, and who knows, one day we may have some siblings come over and live here. We've been told it's an 11-year process. We have started it. We don't know how it's going to end because we don't know where we're going to be if it takes that long. But, we could be part of that too. But it all kind of depends if you're married or not married. I know some of them will, they'll put their families first above themselves to the point that they may even hurt themselves, not getting proper medical care because they would rather send that money home to their families in the Philippines. So it's not ideal. Yes, that's true. And I wish it wasn't happening at all. But, let me know if you think, that I'm being wrong and it's a necessary evil. Maybe it's not as evil as this person sees it. I like this article, but I want to know what you think about it. And if you can and haven't, subscribe here to Love Beyond the Sea.